Should have started that a couple of minutes ago. Give me just a
Okay.
second. Live stream going, and then we'll roll.
Okay, add account.
Go.
Okay, live stream is going, so we'll roll.
Okay, add account.
I mean, you got it up on YouTube.
It just started, so
Oh, okay. All right.
Went wrong.
2 right now.
Go.
Okay, live stream is going, so we'll roll. All right, Mike, we're ready whenever you are.
Okay, if you, who else we got that can do an invocation in place of Carlton?
You mean a
No
prayer?
Yeah,
I'll do it.
okay. So we're gonna do the pledge. We'll do the pledge and then invocation. If you could bring up the flag, Rich Hudson's gonna lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Give me just a quick second here. All right.
Okay, Rich, you're on.
I pledge allegiance to
Allegiance.
the flag
Flag.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it
For which it
stands,
stands.
One nation,
Under God,
one
indivisible,
nation,
liberty and justice for all.
under God,
Somebody's.
with liberty and for all.
you're way behind.
Okay, Rich, are you live
Prayer.
streaming? Okay, Gene, if you want to lead the
You want me to
invocation.
do the prayer also?
No, Gene Taylor's got that, Rich, thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this
Okay.
night. Thank you for this gathering. Thank you for each one of us here on this Zoom conference. And thank you for those that couldn't be here tonight. We just ask that you pray for this group of, or we ask that we pray for this group of men and women, that we can come together and in fellowship in your name to celebrate this sport that we enjoy in this community. We say a special prayer for our friend, Mr. Richard Deweeds, and his wife, Miss Margaret, tonight as they go through some concerns. And we love them, Lord. We ask that you just give them peace and comfort. Thank you again for all these many blessings and this opportunity that we have to come together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Okay, this is the first time we've gotten together in a while, and it's time to welcome all of our new members. Rich Hudson is going to call them out by name just shortly. I would like to thank everyone, every single one who has helped out during these trying times, COVID-19 and meeting via Zoom and our fly casting and fly tying. We have people who have contributed by their presence, by sticking with it. Too many to mention, really, and some that have contributed a whole lot of money to us, a lot of time, a lot of effort. And no matter how small that contribution, it is as welcome as any of them. And it is much appreciated by every single one of us in Kisatchie fly fishers. So that's such a positive note. We all have to be a little patient until this pandemic has been tamed a little more. Thank you all for sticking with it and doing the best that we all can. And I'd like to turn it over to Rich Hudson now to mention all the new members by name. We've got them as far away as Long Island, and I had to look that up in the encyclopedia to find out where it was. That's not really true. I got a friend of mine who lives on Long Island, but I've never been there. Rich, I turn it over to you for now.
Yeah, so we've been very fortunate to have a number of new members that have started since last July. And I'm going to give you 9 of them that joined in 2020. It was Bob Connor, Greg Petrus, Guy Porta, Rusty Russell, Chris Williams and his family, Tyler Wood and his family, Jerry and Sandy Patton, Jeff Stevens, and Flip Zaragoza. And in 2021, just in the last 3 months, we've had Robert Kinberger, got it from Alexandria, Lewis Busby, that's local, Mark Carey, and also Peter Zadak. And Peter is the one that's from Long Island. We're excited about him being part of our Louisiana club.
Yeah.
I wonder if he can say Kisatchie.
Oh, yeah, that's an easy word. Okay, Rich, can you continue with our overall membership brief and financial report?
Certainly. Right now, our total membership is 84. We have 78 that are dues paying. Of that 78, we've had 56 who have paid their dues for 2021. That's 72%. And we have 22 or 28% who are still lacking in paying their dues. And the dues are due by the end of March. From our financial standpoint, we're doing really good. We started the year with $5,500 in the bank. We've had a number of expenses. We paid $350 to FFI for our yearly membership to Fly Fishers International. We've spent $165 on caps, and we've spent over $800 on fly tying material and our Zoom. I guess that's a contract or lease. We've had $1,165 in deposits so far this year. And that's primarily from dues and also Rogers rods and cap purchases. So right now we have $53.90 in the bank. So we're doing really good as far as a club, for a nonprofit club.
Okay, thank you, Rich. Carlton, I guess you're still waiting to boot up. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to just do it without the PowerPoint. So I'm ready.
Okay. One of the primary reasons we call this general meeting tonight, which it's been long overdue anyway, was for Carlton's presentation on the Little Mo environment and how to get around up there, and a safety brief. I can tell you right now that having waded through some pretty strong mountain streams in Middle Asia, up in the mountains, that these rocks that they got in Arkansas are much more slippery than that environment. So it is a danger if you don't have good boots and a wading staff, and you forget and step on top of rocks. It's just not a good thing. So that's my introduction to Carlton. Carlton, you have it for the time being.
Okay, I want to apologize for technical difficulties. I have a PowerPoint presentation that would make it a whole lot more informative. I thought I'd transferred it and realized that it didn't go through. So anyway, I've titled this presentation, Getting Started Fly Fishing on a Cold Water Tailwater, particularly the Little Missouri River. And I'm just going to talk about some equipment and outfitting needs hurriedly and spend more time toward the latter part of the presentation on safety. A lot of this stuff, probably most of you already know, as far as equipment, rods and reels. I recommend a 3-weight to a 6-weight rod. About 9 foot is the most common length for a rod. And that now, when I say 3 to 6 weight, that's for trout fishing. Different heavier weight rod for offshore, I mean, fishing in the marsh, bass fishing possibly, but a 5 or a 6 weight rod is pretty all around for a whole lot of things. Fly line, recommend a weight forward floating fly line, and the weight of the line should match the weight of the rod. Whatever weight rod you're using, the line should match that. And then there's leaders and tippets, and recommend a 7.5 or a 9 foot tapered monofilament leader, and tippet to attach to the end of the leader. The tippet is a fine material at the small end of the leader, and recommend using 4X and 5X tippet. That's the small end of the leader, and you attach your tippet to the butt section of the leader. In other words, the bigger section of the leader, using a splice or a tippet ring. And you can find out a whole lot about splices by just looking up knots and fly fishing knots on the internet. The tippet ring is a tiny little ring, about a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch in diameter, maybe, that you attach to the butt section of the leader, just where it starts to get bigger. And then you attach your smaller tippet to that ring. And as you lose a fly or cut it off and change flies, your tippet will start getting shorter each time you change a fly or break off. And so that allows you to save your leader and just replace a section of tippet every now and then. One vital piece of equipment is either a vest or a pack, and it's just personal preference as to which you like. Most packs are, there's 2 different types of packs. One of them fits around your belt and hangs from you usually have a shoulder strap. If you use a pack like that, your belt should support the weight of the pack, not the shoulder strap. Otherwise, you're going to get in other words, kind of like a fanny pack worn in front of you. I personally prefer a vest, but a lot of people use packs, or what they call a sling pack that just fits over your shoulder. But that's personal preference and something you have to decide on your own. A necessary item is waders and boots. As far as waders go, neoprene duck waders, duck hunting waders are okay, but not by far from ideal. Lightweight, breathable, stocking foot waders and wading boots are much better and much safer. Your boots, the most important thing, I think, is boots that are stiff soled and stiff sides. They don't worry about the weight of them. Don't go with a lightweight boot. Your boots are gonna be in the water 90% of the time, and so weight doesn't matter, but a stiff sole and stiff sides. In other words, foot and ankle support is very important. And they should have either felt soles or spike soles, and felt soles will get you by 99% of the places that you're going to fish. Some places will not allow felt soles due to the transmission of invasive species. But in that case, I recommend a spike sole. But a felt sole is good in just about, I've only fished in one place where a fell sole was outlawed. Waders, I like if you're buying waders, I recommend looking for something with a drawstring at the top of the wader that you can cinch up and keep the top of the very top rim of the wader from blousing out and being able to fill up with water whenever you do fall. And also a good wader belt that fits around your waist that keeps the water from running on down your legs real fast. I'm saying when you do fall, because we could all fall at some point or another. I've done it, I don't know how many times. I'm gonna move on to a necessity, and that is a wading staff. A wading staff can be collapsible, in other words, fold up with a kind of a cinch cord inside. It can be a telescope and hiking stick that you can get at Walmart. It can be rigid. The ideal height of a wading staff is about chest high. You don't want something real short, because you need to be able to reach down to the bottom of the river, maybe deeper than a place where you're standing at times. And then attach your wading staff to your belt, a vest, to your body somewhere or another with a lanyard, so it doesn't float off if you turn loose of it. You should be able to turn loose of it and fish without having to hang on to it all the time. Another item that you need is fly boxes, and you don't have to have hundreds of flies, 100 different fly patterns. There's basically 4 different types of fly patterns, and one is dry flies, such as a parachute Adams or a elk hair caddis. Another type of flies that's the most commonly used is nymphs, and that's various midge patterns and mayfly patterns. There's streamers such as woolly boogers, Christmas trees, then what I call junk flies, that's squirm worms, mop flies, green weenies, Victoria's Secrets, a bunch of stuff that we use, particularly on the Little Missouri River, that are kind of unique to that area. But, you get in a lot of other places and you'll see some of this stuff too. But you just don't have to have dozens of different flies. I think later on in the meeting, we're going to talk about a few of the patterns that we use on the Little Missouri. You need some kind of strike indicator, and a strike indicator is just a sophisticated term for a bobber. Being fly fishermen, we think of ourselves as being a little bit more sophisticated. And so indicator has 4 syllables versus bobber just 2, or a cork with 1. There's several different kinds of strike indicators. One good source that I've used and like a whole lot is Floatmaster strike indicators from Det Flies. Another that I've just started using, and you see it advertised, is New Zealand strike indicators. I really do like that a whole lot. I know I'm kind of rushing through this a whole lot, but I want to just have a little bit more time to spend on the safety aspects. And if any of you have any particular questions on anything I'm talking about, you can email me or message me, and I'll be glad to get with you and discuss some of these things in a little more detail. Another item of equipment that you need is either hemostats. That's a little clamp, that the nurse uses to clamp off the tube when she's drawing blood. And that, along with that, you need a nippers to cut your line, cut your leader, or cut your tippet. And that can be something as simple as fingernail clippers, but you can buy $4 nippers that are just really the best thing. Or you use a combination of those hemostats and the nippers, or there's what they call mitten scissors, and it's a little tool made kind of like pair of pliers that has a clamp on the end, scissors, and it's a combination. It has a little point that you can clean out the eye of your fly if it has some glue left in it from tying. It's very easy to use. It's the only thing I have trouble using hemostat to grab a fly, and when I'm trying to get it out of a fish's mouth. I just have much better luck with the mitten scissors. Dr. Slick is a good brand of scissors, clamps, that sort of thing. And their mitten scissors is just top quality. You need some kind of retractor that you attach your tools to your vest, or your waders or whatever, and that you can pull out, and don't go buy from the retractors from the fly shop. They call them zingers sometimes. You can buy from Home Depot $3 badge holder retractors, and they come with a little carabiner that you can just clip in a D-ring on your vest, on your waders, and they're long lasting, and that's all I use. That's what I recommend, is just what you can get from, go to Home Depot and ask for the badge holder retractors, and they're ideal. A net is something else that is nice to have, not necessary. A net really makes it helpful if you want to take a picture of your catch, and it makes landing and releasing a larger fish easier. But I mean, I catch and release a lot of fish without a net. I carry one with me, but I just don't use it more time I use it. But if you want to get a net, make sure you get one with the rubber netting, the kind of silicone rubber netting. It makes it's much easier on the fish itself than a cloth netting or a kind of a yarn netting, and flies don't get hung up in it nearly as easy. Talk a few minutes about clothing for colder weather. Have a question? Okay, for colder weather, dress in layers. You want to be able to, as the day warms up, you want to be able to take off a layer or two and just stay comfortable. But for colder weather, I always start off with a thermal underwear top, a shirt, kind of a fleece sweater, and a vest. And if it's extremely cold, I'm talking about like down in the 30s, I'll wear one more layer on top of that, like another fleece jacket, lightweight fleece jacket, or a lightweight down jacket. And for rainy weather, you need a breathable rain jacket, and it'll serve as a good windbreaker. And Frog Togs makes quality rain jackets for less than $40. And they're breathable, they're just real comfortable, not clammy. And that's what I recommend for rain gear. And then for the bottoms, the water this time of year is very cold, like 45 to 55 degrees. And if you're standing out in it for several hours, it can get very uncomfortable if you're not dressed right. Socks, lightweight polypropylene sock liners or silk sock liners under loose fitting, heavy wool socks. You just don't want anything real tight on your feet. The tighter it is, the more it's going to cut off your circulation. If you don't have good circulation, your feet are going to get cold. So make sure that whatever you put on down there is going to be loose fitting and not constricting your feet, not constricting your toes. And then I'll wear a pair of thermal bottoms under a pair of fleece wading pants. And that, I mean, you can stay comfortable for a long time like that. A cap or a hat with a good bill or brim to shade you from the sun. Both shade your eyes and shade your face. If the sun is out, particularly from this time of year on into the summer, I just came from the dermatologist today, and every time I go, he burns several spots off of me. And so sun protection is something that I can't stress enough. And then if it's real cold, I wear a kind of a fleece hood that I just put my cap or hat over. If it's not real cold, I wear a neck gaiter. A Buff is one of the brands that I pull up over my face and over my ears for sun protection. And I recommend using sunscreen on your nose and any part of your face that is exposed when, especially as the sun gets higher in the sky and days get longer. Trust me, when you get to be my age, you have wondered why in the world did I worship that sun so much and try and get that sun.
83 or 84.
Another item that comes in real handy is chemical hand warmers, and you can get these at Academy and Walmart in the sporting goods section. You can put them in your pockets, 2 of them in your waiter pockets, and they'll last all day. And just slip, your hands get cold, slip them in your pockets, and they really do help out. Another thing that helps out with keeping your hands warm is carry a towel, like a small hand towel. And I tuck mine in my waiter so that about half of it is just hanging out of the top of my waders. And every time you get your hands wet, whether it's from touching a fish or grabbing your net or whatever, dry your hands. If your hands are wet, the water's going to evaporate on them. And as it evaporates, it absorbs heat out of your body. So dry hands go a long way toward keeping your hands warm. I can't stress enough the importance of hydration. I mean, every time I go to the truck, if I'm going to move from one site to the other, I'm going to drink a bottle of water. And I always try and carry a bottle of water in my vest with me and drink on the river. It's easy to get dehydrated. And one of the problems that I have is if I don't hydrate enough, I'm going to get leg cramps at night, and it'll just be a miserable night. So hydration is very important. Carry and drink a lot of water while you're on the river. Okay. And you might add to that something to carry in your vest or pack is snack foods. If you're out there for a long time, of peanut butter crackers or something like that you can just eat right on the riverbank, or even standing out in the river if you want to. But water and snack foods is really important. All right, I'm going to talk just a little bit about fishing and getting ready to fish on the river itself, the Little Missouri. I wish I could show you a map that I'm looking at, but you can find Murfreesboro, Arkansas. The Little Mo is located 6 miles north of, well, the headwater, where the tailwater begins is 6 miles north of Murfreesboro, Arkansas, and it takes about 4.5 hours to get to Murfreesboro from Alexandria. So it's not a bad trip. Bunch of us will usually go up in the morning and get there about midday, have all afternoon to fish, and then spend a night or two. And it's just, we're very fortunate to have as good a fishing as you can find within 4.5, 5 hours of Alexandria. But you can find it, just Google Murfreesboro or finding out how to get there. Go up through Shreveport. It's interstate all the way except for about the last 30 miles. So about as easy a place you can get to. You need a non-resident fishing license, a non-resident fishing license for the state of Arkansas. And you can get that from Arkansas Game and Fish. You can get it online. You can get either a 3-day trip permit for $16 or a 7-day license for $25. But I'm telling you, if you go one time, you're going to want to go back and get you an annual license. It's good for 1 year from the date of purchase, so it doesn't expire on June 31st like I was doing in Louisiana. Annual is $50. Then you also need a trout permit, which is $20 for the year. And both of those are good for 1 year from date of purchase. You can buy them at a sporting goods store, Walmart on the way, something like that, but it's just the easiest thing to do is just go ahead and get it online. There are 5 access points on the Little Missouri River. The one nearest the dam, the farthest upstream, is Riverside Park, and its access is a stretch probably a 1/4 mile long. There's a area right at the parking lot they call the Flats. It's just about 100-yard section of, when I say flat water, it's not deep water. There's rocks and boulders and depressions in it, but you can wade the whole part of it from one side of the river to the other. Then there's right downstream from that, there's a section called the Wall Hole, and it's in front of a wall in a walkway, and it's deep water. Fish are hold in that deep water a whole lot, particularly later on in the year, as the air temperature warms up, particularly in the summer. The Wall Hole is usually real good. Then on beyond that is an area that we call the Meat Hole, and it's not easy to get to, but it's well worth the effort to get to. We catch a lot of fish in the Meat Hole. Then the next access point is River Ridge, and it's just a large pool that has a lot of fish in it a lot of times. And downstream from River Ridge there's a weir that holds that pool back, a rock dam that holds the pool back. And downstream, there's some good fishing at times in the faster water. The next access point is Heinz Bluff. Heinz Bluff is probably my favorite access on the whole river. We catch a lot of fish in Heinz Bluff. It can get pretty crowded because it's not real big. It's not nearly as big a pool as in an area as the park and the River Ridge, but it's still room for 6 or 8 fishermen in there. The next access point, and these access points are, a mile, a half a mile apart. It's just not a long stretch. So you can fish one for a few hours and then go down and fish another one, get in your car and drive down to another one. It's not just a few minutes between each one of them. The 4th access point is Old Factory Site, and it is a large pool, and right now it is loaded with fish. I mean, we caught a lot of fish in it last week. It's in there's fast water below a rock dam on that old factory site pool, and can be good fishing below that dam. And the last access point is called Low Water Bridge, and it has a large pool. When I say a pool, I'm talking about like a lake behind a rock dam, and a lot of fish in it, and then good fishing in the faster water right below that rock dam. You can go to the ArkansasGameandFish.com, AGFC.com, and download their Arkansas Trout Fishing Guidebook, and it'll have a map of all of the trout waters in Arkansas, and the map for the Little Missouri River will show these access points and show the highway that they're on, and about how far apart they are. And so that's a good, just download that map, Arkansas Trout Fishing Guidebook, from ArkansasGameandFish.com.
To do that.
All right. Now I'm getting into safety. There's a generation, the Little Missouri River is what we call a tailwater river, meaning that the water from that section of the river comes from a dam, comes through a dam, a reservoir upstream from that dam. And most tailwaters generate electricity, have a powerhouse where they generate electricity. And the Little Mo is no exception. The Little Missouri has 3 generation units or 3 turbines, and they'll usually be generating with, if they are generating, they usually be generating with either 2 or 3 generators running. And either way, if there's 2 or 3 generators running, the river's not wadeable. I mean, it's just, there's no place where you can cross the river, stand out in the river when they're generating, because the water is deep and it is fast. Okay, you can find out what the generation schedule is. The easiest way is go to LittleMissouriFlyFishing.com. That's all one word, LittleMissouriFlyFishing.com. That is a website that Jeff Gurin puts out. Jeff is out of Shreveport, and he guides on the Little Missouri River. And at his website, one of the links is SWEPCO Generation. And you click on that SWEPCO Generation, and it will give you a schedule for the week, a generation schedule for the week. It'll say Narrows Dam Generation Schedule. And that generation schedule usually comes out either on late Thursday afternoon late, or Friday for the following week, Monday through Sunday. And once you get that, look at that schedule, it'll be just like a spreadsheet, and there's a column for each day of the week, Monday through Friday, and the rows are the times of day. If the generation is to start at 7, and the numbers on the column for the times are in military time. In other words, 0100 is 1 o'clock in the morning. 0700 is 7 in the morning. And so if it says that it's going to start generating at 0700 at the top of the column, it's going to say hour in 0700.
Yeah.
Means that they're going to begin generating at 0600, 6 o'clock in the morning. And if it says that they're going to cut off generating at say noon, 1200 hours, they cut off on the hour that it says in that left-hand column. But keep in mind that the generation starts 1 hour before what's listed in the column where it begins. And that is very, very important that you keep that in mind. Bill, was you able to? I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah, you should be able to see that spreadsheet on the screen right now.
Yeah. Okay. For Monday, is that this week, Bill?
Yeah, it's March 8th, Monday, March 8th.
Okay. It's real small.
Let me see if I can, let me stop.
Okay.
Second, hang on. Let me get it bigger for you. Give me just a quick second. I got so much stuff on my screen open up here. Let's see. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. It should be a little better.
Okay, I'm expanding mine out. If you look on the column that for Monday, oh, yeah, there you go. If you look on the column for Monday, it says, oh, there you go, Bill. 0900 is when it starts. That means it's starting at 8 o'clock. Oh, it is actually starting at 0800 and ending at 1300, which is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that schedule is to end actually at 1 o'clock. So always remember that the generation starts 1 hour prior to the hour listed in that right-hand column. Now, you see 16 in each of the numbers there. There are 3 generation units, 3 turbines. Each unit is capable of generating 8 kilowatt hours, I guess it is. And so if it's 16, that means that 8 times 2, 16, 2 units running, they're generating 16 kilowatts. If it's 24, it's 3 units running. A couple of weeks ago, in fact, last week, I saw them with just 1 unit running. It was listed as 8, and that's the only time I've ever seen it at 8. The river in places is wadeable at 8 or 1 unit running, but it's not wadeable at all if there's 2 or 3 units. So if you see on the schedule 16 or 24, don't even think about trying to get in the river then. I'll tell you how I know that. Last week, I didn't misread the chart, the generation schedule. I just made a mistake. And I got caught on the opposite side of the river at Heinz Bluff because of a mental error that I made. And I was able to get out of it by walking, getting out on the opposite side of the river, but I could not get, there was no way I could get back to the parking lot into our car. But the guys that I was fishing with I was able to communicate across the river to them and figured out how to walk out. I walked probably a mile and then was rescued, but you don't have any cell service. If you can't get rescued, you're probably gonna have to walk 7 or 8 miles to get to any civilization at all. Don't make that mistake that I made. Know that schedule, keep it in mind, and then just pay attention to it. All right, now, after generation starts, if it starts at, say, noon, it takes so many minutes for the water to reach each of these access points downstream from the dam. If it starts at noon, I wish I could show you these things, but if you make a note, if you can write down these times, it's very important to remember them. And I have put it in an email, but just keep this in mind. It takes 20 minutes for the high water to arrive at River Ridge after generation starts. That's 20 minutes at River Ridge. At Heinz Bluff, it takes 45 minutes from the time generation starts. In other words, if generation starts at noon, you can fish until 12:45 at Heinz Bluff. At Heinz Bluff, you can hear the water coming because there's rapids just upstream, just a couple of 100 feet upstream from where you're probably going to be fishing. And you can hear the water begin to run over those rapids. But at any of the other access points, the water just rises. You will not hear it. The water will just rise and then begin to get fast. And you just need to know the schedule and know to get out of it before it is risen. At Old Factory Site, it takes 1 hour and 45 minutes to get there after generation starts. And at Low Water Bridge, it takes 2 hours and 15 minutes. All right. If the water has been high due to rainfall or not being off, generation not being off for a long period of time, it'll take a few minutes less than that. It may be 5-10 minutes less than that. And do not forget this, that generation schedule is subject to change without notice. So they can start generating without you, they can change that schedule at any time and you have no way of knowing it. But so the schedule is just a guideline, a rough guideline to go by. I always say, when you wade out into the river, put a $100 bill on a rock, and every cast you make, you're going to look at that rock and see if that $100 bill is there and see if the water's rising. If you put a $5 bill on it, you'll forget it and won't look at it. But when you see that water rising, pick you out a rock or a limb that's just sticking out of the river or something like that you can watch and see it begin to rise. And when it begins to rise, head for the bank. And like I said before, don't go in the river without a waiting staff. I mean, it will save you from falling a whole lot. It won't prevent you from falling, but it will go a long way toward preventing you from falling. Keep that with you at all times. All right, couple of more things right quick.
Carlton, do you want me to show a map of the river? I've got pins dropped on each of the sites, or no?
Yeah,
Hang on.
yeah.
All right, this is, well, you know what this is, right? Right below, you may not be able to read the screen, but this is the dam. And this is an area we'll call the park, where the parking lot wall hole that Carlton mentioned, the meat hole, is downstream from there. So, and then River Ridge is next. There's a pull out. You can't see it from the road. There's that pull out. There's a sign that says River Ridge there on the highway. And then coming down, Heinz Bluff that he mentioned, it's right on the road there. And then coming on down farther to, and the old factory is quite a ways down. It's at the end. And what is that, Carlton? You think about a 2.5 mile, 2.5 mile road. It's paved now.
Maybe 2 miles.
Yeah, old factory site. Big long pool there. And then all the way down to Low Water Bridge, which is on the highway.
I forget what the number of that highway is.
Muddy Fork Road on Google Maps. I don't know either. It's
if you download that Arkansas Game and Fish guidebook, it has a map, a road map, and a river map. And at each on the highway, on Highway 19, there's good signs for at the entrance to each of those access points. So.
all right. Now,
Okay.
how far down can you hear the horns blow?
Oh, you can't hear the horn past the meat hole.
Okay.
You might hear it at River Ridge. Oh, I didn't mention the horn. There's a siren, a horn that they blow at the dam when they're getting ready to start generating, and they'll blow that horn 20 minutes before the beginning of generation. And I mean, if you're close to it, you know what it is, because it probably blows for a minute, just a loud siren type horn. And then, so they blow it 20 minutes before, and then it'll stop. Then 15 minutes before, and it'll stop. 10 minutes before, 5 minutes before, and then just before. But you get down below the park, and you won't hear it. So don't think you like it. I have heard it at Heinz Bluff, like before daylight in the morning when it's real still. But you don't expect to hear it downstream. All right, that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Let's see. Let me
Hey,
get-
Bill, this is Mike. Can you see anybody waving their hand for a question, or are we clear to go to the next topic?
Let's see. Anybody have a question? I have the gallery view up now, so we should be able to see everybody.
I have one for Mr. Carlton.
Okay.
Were y'all talking about the meat hole? Are you talking about where you wade in at the wall hole and then scale kind of the bank around that private property for ways?
Yes, you just have to get. Go ahead.
Well, about how far down there? Is it just like a pool? And how big? I fished all through there, but I'm not sure the exact spot that you and Robert are calling the meat hole.
Okay. When you get, there are several houses and camps along the river there, and the first one has a fence that you walk in by and you just have to get in the water. You can't, well, you're not supposed to go in the yards to access the meat hole. So you get in the water and walk down, and it's not easy walking. There's a lot of rocks and but it's doable. When you get in front of the first house up on the bank, I mean, good fishing starts right there on down to where the water shallows up. It's about probably a 200-foot stretch that it gets to be a real shoal area. And all of that in there is just very good fishing. And room for 6 people easy to scatter out around it. So
Carlton, I have a question.
okay.
In the state of Arkansas, are you able to wade up and down the river so long as you're not trespassing on anyone's property? In other words, if you can walk up in front of someone's house that's privately owned, is that legal?
It's not at the meat hole. It's not at that subdivision. But on downstream, particularly at River Ridge, the Arkansas Game and Fish has an easement probably 20 feet above the high water mark that is legal to walk along the bank.
Carlton, I seem to remember, and is this right? Jeff Garrett in his presentation at our conclave here said that you could stay in the bed of the river, and the bed of the river is defined where the high water mark is. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So as long as you're, other than where that easement is, as long as you're within the high water mark, you can wade downstream or upstream along the river. But like you said, a river there at the meat hole, and there is no, I mean, it's just a straight bank from the private property down to the water.
That's
The
correct.
reason I ask is we're staying on the river, and I'm just wondering if we went in and were we able to just kind of walk up and down the river if we're able to. I don't even know if it's even possible, but I didn't know if you know the conditions were allowable, if we were able to do that.
Is this Jerry?
Yes.
Okay, Jerry, I think you're staying in the house Waha owns, right?
No, it's not that house. It's further down. Probably, I'd have to look. It's probably maybe 2/3 of the way down the river.
Oh, okay. I don't know about down there. You can further down. You can probably wait without anybody say. I can't answer that. I'm sorry. I wish I could.
Fair enough.
Is the question, can you walk in the river?
Yes.
In front of
Yes.
somebody's property? Not
Yes.
out.
Yes.
You can
Yeah, that's
walk
legal.
the river.
Yeah, you can do that. As long as you're not on their land
Low
and you're in the
water,
river.
you know, well, only low water, but the high water mark is generally just a steep bank that you can't you know, you get out of the water and you're above the high water mark in most places.
Correct. But you can be in the water walking past somebody's land.
Anywhere, that's right. The
Yeah,
river,
okay.
the
Does
river.
that clarify it, Jerry?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Carlton, did you mention sunglasses?
Oh, I didn't. Sunglasses is another, very polarized sunglasses is another very important accessory. I'm gonna back up and I want to make sure I hadn't skipped anything else. As far as equipment. I think the only thing that I'd overlooked is sunglasses. Sunglasses, not only for eye strain, but polarized sunglasses make it much, much easier to see the river bottom or even see fish because it takes the glare, a lot of the glare out of off the water. So makes it much easier to wade. Okay, that's all I have, Mike.
Okay. Bill, you got
That's it.
anybody else with a hand up asking a question?
Don't see anybody. Don't.
Okay, I've got some coordinates I downloaded for all the turnoffs into the points. I did that because first time I went out there, everybody said, "Hey, we're going down this place." And they hauled ass, and I got lost. I couldn't find it, so I'll send those out tonight. The grids, and there's a couple of other items of information I'll send out once we get off this meeting. Okay. The next subject here, Cash Cormier, you up? Is Cash up, Bill?
Yeah, he's just unmuting.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay.
Okay, you're up for the events, the April Coteal, the Gulf Coast Council Sun Catch Challenge. You're on, Cash.
Okay. Well, April 12th, I think it is the second Monday in April. It would be our annual spring picnic at Coteal Lake. We're doing it a month later this year. That was important, not due to COVID, but actually to the fact that Coteal Rec area was hit really hard by the hurricanes, and there was a lot of damage at the park. And in fact, they still haven't taken out a lot of the debris, most of the debris. They're actually taking it out this week. And so the pavilion wouldn't be available until the end of the month. And so this, it's a month later than what we normally do, but it should be better because fishing sucks right now. The water is really cold. It really is cold right now. So it hasn't been too good of fishing out there, but we should have everything in place by April 12th. Now, the only question that came up was somebody mentioned to me, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Greg or Johnny or somebody from outside of Alexandria. Was it possible if we could have the spring picnic on a Saturday instead of a Monday evening? I think the fact that we're having it a month later might help some people because there will be daylight during the pick, more daylight then, but that's still a good question, I think. And Carlton mentioned earlier this morning that, we have a good turnout for the picnic. So, why mess with a good thing? We gave it some thought, and I'm thinking, yeah, let's stick with what we got with the picnic. And maybe as a warm water committee, we do another little outing, let's say in May, for example, somewhere, and we do, on a Saturday morning. So instead of messing with the picnic, just have a second event like that. Any thoughts?
That sounds like a good idea for discussion at a board meeting, Catch. I think it's, and even as part of the warm water committee, I think it's a good idea. We just need to find a place with adequate parking, and secure and facilities.
Okay, so I'm going to put up the picnic form by the end of the week, and it'll be up there. And like in the past, just go on to, I'll send an email, a link to the form, and just fill out the form if you plan to attend and what guests you'll be bringing, and whether your preference is hot dogs or hamburgers or both. And then we'll make the final arrangements. Of course, as we always do, we welcome snacks and veggies and salads and desserts or whatever people can bring in addition. and it's bring your own drinks. But the club pays for everything else, provides everything else. And so
For catch,
you don't need to pay $5 to get into the park for the event. Just tell them you're with Red Stick Fly Fishers and you get in free.
Kisatchie fly fishers, catch.
I'm sorry, Kisatchie Fly Fishers.
That's
I've been
okay.
doing Red Stick Fly Fishers and Kisatchie Fly Fishers. I get confused. I've been doing Zoom sessions for both.
Yeah, it's easy to critique when you're not speaking.
Yeah. So any
What-
questions on the picnic then?
your sign
time?
up thing will talk about fishing and all that stuff that you can do before the picnic.
Talk about fishing at Coteau?
Well, you'll talk, yeah, will you have in your sign up thing, you'll tell everybody that you can fish, while you're there. You can fish off the bank or you can bring a kayak and fish prior to the picnic.
Actually, in a little article I'm gonna post, every year on the website, I put a little blurb about the spring picnic. I can
Right.
include all that. I usually include that information, but I can include more, like, what flies to use and what fish will be active out there.
Yeah. So this
It'll
is
be
a
up-
family thing, right? It's
What's
an
that?
evening thing. It's an evening event, but it's a family event, right?
Yes,
Great.
everybody, bring the kids, grandma, the dog.
Thank you.
Okay, Catch, what about this? You had mentioned something in an email to me today about Suncat's challenge.
Yes, the Fly Fishers International Gulf Coast Council. That's the region, Louisiana, Mississippi, Southern Alabama, and Northwest Florida is the Gulf Coast Council of Fly Fishers International. We're going to do what we're calling a Sun Catch Challenge. FFI International, national, I should say, has a cut catch challenge and a bass catch challenge. And so we'll be the first council to have our own little challenge. And what this is catching, we've identified 16 species of sunfish that live in the Gulf Coast Council waters. And the aim is to go out and try to catch at least 9 of these. If you catch 9, you get the Sun Catch Challenge Award. If you catch all 16, which might be a little tough, but it's possible, you get the All Sun Catch Award. And so this is not a competition. It doesn't have a time frame. It starts April 1st, but if it takes you 3 years to catch, 9 species that are listed, you still get the award. It's almost identical otherwise to our mixed bag. In fact, if you catch a mixed bag sunfish, let's say you catch a long-eared sunfish in the mixed bag and enter in the mixed bag, you can enter it also in the FFI Sun Catch, in the GCC Sun Catch Challenge. The same photo, same information, it counts. The only difference is 2. 1, you have to be an FFI member to participate in the Sun Catch Challenge. And I think we've tallied up quite a few new FFI members from the casting challenge that we had. So I hope those people will participate. Second, the photo requirements are going to be a little more stringent than what the mixed bag is. I mean, we've let some things pass with mixed bag where, we couldn't see the entire fish, the entire side of the fish and all that. That's going to be important for the sun catch because we have to make sure we identify that fish. It matches up with what was entered. And by the way, it's free. There's no cost to enter it. You just have to be an FFI member. And you don't even have to be an FFI member in the Gulf Coast Council. I think everybody on this Zoom lives in the Gulf Coast Council, but if you don't, you live in North Carolina, if you come down to Louisiana, Mississippi, or Northwest Florida to visit, catch a few sunfish, enter it in, you never know. Might get to 9 sunfish and get an award.
Well, Catch, what if you live in Long Island like Peter does, and you catch some sunfish up there, are they eligible?
No,
Okay,
No.
good.
it's because, we're trying to do this regionally. Now, and so the species that we've identified, 16, are within the Gulf Coast Council. Now, we have our conservation meeting, OFFI Conservation Committee meets Thursday night. Actually, they meet tomorrow night. I'm sorry, Wednesday night. And I'm going to be on that call. And I've already been told that other councils want to emulate this, either have a sun catch challenge themselves, or, maybe for the folks in Wisconsin, it might be a pike challenge, or, epox challenge, whatever species they have, chain pickerel, pike, muskellunge, whatever. So this is something that a lot of interest is being thrown around in the fly fishing, Federation of Fly Fishers, or Fly Fishers International.
Are you going to post anything on our Kisatchie flyfishers.org?
Yes, I will. The bulk of the information will be posted later this week. We have a review session to look over it one last time, and then we'll post it on the Gulf Coast Council website, which is gulfcoastcouncilffi.org. And I'll have a link on our website in that article to the Suncast Challenge.
Okay, super. You got anything else?
Well, are there any questions about the Suncast Challenge from anybody?
You see any questions out there, Bill? I can't see.
No, I don't.
Okay, you want to go with the mixed bag report, Bill?
Sure, absolutely. Mixed bag's off to a quick start. I would have reported, as of this morning when I downloaded the spreadsheet, I would have reported that we had a tie at the top between Chris Williams and Jerry Patton, but Chris is out there smiling right now, I think. He posted a long ear this afternoon. So two of our new members, Chris and Williams and Jerry, are in the lead. Chris with 8 and Jerry with 7. Total of 33 entries have been put in so far, so we're off to a really good start. 9 members have posted fish at this point. Chris has 8, Jerry with 7, Catch with 5, Carlton with 4, Robert with 3, and then down to 2 and 1 from in there. Actually, the body of water where the most fish have been caught, the single body so far, is the Little Missouri, with 7 entries from there. Otherwise, thanks to Chris, we've got some Maurepas Swamp out there. We've got Coteau Lake, Calcasieu Marsh, the Park Natchitoches Pond, and various other places. But we've had let's see, rainbow trout 5 is the largest number for any single species. Largemouth follows with 4, along with black crappie, spotted bass, then with redfish and brown trout with 3, and bluegill. And then let's see, we fly wise, well, I think Carlton used the term junk fly. It's squirm worm is the one with the most species so far, with 3, and then there's a lot of them with 2 and 1 out there. So, but again, and if you don't or was not at the meeting, we are having a slight change to the awards this year to make it a little less competitive, but more awards for the door prize drawing. So you get a ticket for that based on the number of species you entered. So to encourage folks and many of us catch 5 or 6 each year, you get 5 or 6 tickets. So be sure and go out there and enter anything you catch. Dalen, you actually have the ability to enter these too, because our geographic area stops on the west side of Panama City. So if you're west of Panama City, Destin area, any of those fish would be eligible. Destin, Pensacola, et cetera, et cetera. So you can definitely go ahead and enter those in there as well.
You must be a member.
Yes, you have to be a member. We have, I don't know what, the mail has been very, very, very slow.
Be on the way.
Okay, cool. All right, I think that's it, Mike. So a good start. I mean, I think we had 120 entries all last year, and we're already, fifth of the way there. So,
Yeah, doing good.
Fourth of the way.
Okay, who's going to cover the cold water? Carlton, Chris, or Tom? If you're muted, if you're on the cold water and you're muted, Chris Perkins, you up? Dom Zabosky?
Okay, I'm unmuted right here. Tom had to step away, but the cold water committee. First off, the first thing that's coming up is this trip to Murfreesboro that Carlton's heading up. Carlton, I'm not sure exactly how many people you're going. I know that Maria and I are going, but what do you have? 8 or 10 that are going to be in the Swaha house?
Carlton, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yes, sir.
9 in Swaha, and I think a total of 23 going.
That's going to be a bunch of us. Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
Fun.
Also, I had to step away, but I believe we also are going to have a club. Is it a lunch, Carlton, on Friday?
Yes, on Friday, the club will be hosting, along with several volunteers, will be helping, but hosting a lunch get together, a cookout at Swaha. The name of the location is the Dam Grill, DAM Grill, and it's just a patio area that up at on top of Dynamite Hill at Swaha Marina. It'll be pulled pork, sandwiches, and potato salad and baked beans. Probably the club will be furnishing the food. You bring your own drinks. And that'll be kind of a get together for discussing what we're doing, maybe planning the activities for the rest of the week, or the schedule. Here's the thing. Everybody, if there's 15 people fishing at one time, 15 people can't fish at one access point. And so I want us to try and spread out along the river. And I'm not saying everybody stay at one spot, but maybe fish a morning at one access point and then give that one to some other people, move to another area. Most of us will probably get up to the river about noon, early afternoon on Thursday, and maybe try and coordinate a meet at the park or something at 1 o'clock Thursday afternoon or something like that. I'll send out an email on maybe communicating where we're going to be, so that everybody doesn't end up at one access point at one particular time. But that noon Friday event is for everybody that's on the trip.
Spouses and kids?
Yes.
Great.
All right, Chris, you have anything to say about a Western trip?
Well, yes. And also too, right now we are working on the possibility of making a trip over to the San Juan River, possibly in August. You know, we're very early in the stages of that, but it looks like we may be able to work something out over there. And I'll be sure, of course, to see to it that everybody in the club, you know, is notified about it.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Let's push on to saltwater. I don't know, Robert, Bill, and Gene, one of you need to take that, please.
Gene, you want to take that? Since we have so much planned already. So.
I'll defer to you.
All right. Thank you, Counselor.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, we don't have anything near term planned through the generosity of Jerry Patton. We're planning an October trip down to Grand Isle. He has graciously volunteered to provide maps of spots to fish and a lot of information down there and room for some at his camp, and then give us alternatives for lodging. But as soon as we get more particulars on that, it'll probably be this summer. We'll send that out to the club. But the early October trip down to Grand Isle, and I believe that we did settle on a date for that. And I can tell you again, we don't have a precise date on the beginning and end, but it is probably sometime around the 6th through the 10th or 7th through the 10th of October. But Jerry was extremely gracious and with his hospitality and information about his fish there his whole life about the fishery there. And if you've ever fished at Grand Isle, it's really a great fishery from surf or kayaks on the sound side. And Jerry indicated that there were kayak rentals down there and several kayak launches. If you don't have a kayak and don't want to rent, there's numerous beach and sound side bank opportunities as well. But we will probably do at some point some shorter trips. We always do our fall Point Ocean trip. We've not planned that. Of course, we missed it this year, but we'll probably do that and potentially some day trips to the Calcasieu area. Some of us have done that. Particularly, it depends on what Sabine Refuge, how it opens up. I know some of it has opened up in the last couple of weeks. There's opportunities there, and on the Fred's Landing side, on the east side of the lake, Big Lake, there's some opportunities there. So other than that, we don't have anything else specific to report.
Okay, Bill, would you like to continue with fly tying report?
Okay, I can. Let's see. Fly tying report, Little Mo boxes. Well, the fly tying sessions have been generally well attended. Thanks to Catch's suggestion a number of months ago, we started live streaming on YouTube with those. And we generally have anywhere between 5 and 7 or 8 people on YouTube and somewhere around 15 to 18 on Zoom each time. So we're doing those bi-weekly. We have sent out materials already for the next 2 sessions. Next Tuesday night, we're tying squirm worm, a couple of variations, though there are dozens of variations of it, and ruby midge. And then the Tuesday after we get back from the Little Mo, which is not great timing on using the fly at the Little Mo, but we're going to tie Frenchie, which is also a very effective pattern up there. And I'm sure most of you know Carlton put forth the idea to the board, a wonderful idea for several of the, I think they're all board members, to get together and tie some Little Missouri flies for new members who are going on the Little Missouri trip, and particularly new members who don't tie. And these are those that are not generally commercially available. So we had a number of folks volunteering to tie. We have 11 fly patterns we're going to include in those fly boxes with 3 copies each. So 33 flies is a nice box of flies for our new members who are on the trip to start their Little Missouri careers. And those flies are olive Christmas tree, Jim Johnson's tying. Pink Christmas Tree Catch is tying. Guide's Choice Hare's Ear. Carlton is tying. Pink Squirmworm Rich Hudson is tying, has already completed those. Green Weenie Gene is tying. Ruby Midge Gene is tying. Victoria's Secret Mike Carlin's tying, and A&W Merger. So 2 for Gene and Mike. I tied a laser bugger, which is kind of a woolly bugger-like variant that works well up there. Robert Hughes is tying the sexy waltz worm, and as opposed to the non-sexy waltz worm. And then Rich DeWeese has completed a box of mop flies for us. Really nice looking mop flies. So that's it.
Hey, Bill, just to confirm, I don't think I'm doing the Victoria's Secret. I've already done the green weenie, but I think it may have been Mr. Mike that had that one.
Yeah, Mike has Victoria. I'm sorry, I just misstated. I have it written down here. Mike's doing Victoria's Secret, and you're doing Ruby Midge as well as the weenies, Gene.
I've done the weenies, and I'm actually putting beads on, I guess it's a size 18 hooks this whole time.
Awesome.
It's taking that long.
And I'm doing Pink Christmas Tree.
Yeah, and Catch, I sent you a text. We need to get together and get your materials to you.
Oh, I ordered them. I'm waiting on the materials. I
Oh,
know I
did-
was going to get some.
Yeah. They came in a few days ago. They took 12 days to come in. So
I've been waiting that long for mine.
yeah, but so I've got to have them. They're bagged up and ready for you. If you want to, if you're in town the next couple of days, you can pick them up. And
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
all right.
Okay, hey, Bill, is Roger Breedlove up?
I have not seen Roger tonight.
Okay,
He was there.
He was?
Yeah, earlier.
see if you, Roger Breedlove, you up?
I don't see his.
Okay, casting report. I've been to all of the casting days. I know Chris is up too, but I'll just recap it very briefly. This past Monday, well, yesterday, we had 10 of us out there, 10 or 11. And it's fairly well attended most of the time when we got good weather. So we may need to work on it a little bit to get the word out there, and possibly, and we've talked about this before, put some like challenges out there besides the bronze, the silver, and the gold, to get guys to cast through some horizontal loops and some, targets on the ground, targets elevated. But I think it's going pretty good. Chris, is thumbs up or thumbs down on it? Chris, you up?
I think it's doing very well. We, like you said, we've got 9 or 10 people that show up just about every week. And the good thing about it is our club is very fortunate because we have 3 FFI certified fly casting instructors that can help people that come out to the casting meetings. And, if you got something you want to work on, pigeonhole one of these guys and they will help you. And the greatest thing about it is the absolute worst thing that happens about any of this is you just get to be a better caster, which makes you better at putting the fly in front of the fish.
Amen.
Okay, and I'll add that it's all socially distanced, and we have not tracked one case of COVID-19 to the fly casting practice.
And Mike, the time will change Monday. Is that right?
That's right. We're going to daylight saving time Monday, and our casting is going to change from 4:30/16:30, and it's going to change over to 5:00 p.m. 1700 this coming Monday. Thank you for that reminder, Bill. Okay, Education Committee. I wrote down there Fly Fishing 101 and summer workshop. Cass, have you thought any more about the Fly Fishing 101? And when, where, what are the possibilities? Do we have to wait another 6 months or so, or what?
Yeah, I was thinking that if we don't do it in June, we probably hold out till September, but we got so many things going on in September. That's going to be a tough thing to do. September and October are going to be really busy. with the live events going on, as well as probably some trips. It seems like quite a few trips. So I'm trying to shoot for June right now, and we'll see how that works out.
Okay, any thoughts about the summer workshop, bringing somebody in? For you new members out there, one thing we've done in the summertime is bring in a well-known fly tower. We've had somebody come in and teach us about the way he does poppers. Then another guy who was very good with the deer hair poppers, which is a lot of work, came in. Doc, what was his last name? Catch? Music Doc?
Yeah, Doc Andrews. Kevin
Andrews.
Andrews. Yes.
Yeah, so
Doc Andrews.
And we had the guide from Arkansas who came in,
Yeah, Chris
talked to us about,
Morris.
Chris.
was that Jeff Guerin that came in?
Jeff Guerin.
Jeff came in once, and then Chris,
Jeff and Chris.
Chris came in another time.
At the
Okay,
tower
so
they come in.
okay, so I thought those are especially
It's
for me being
Stephen
new to all
Robert
that.
once too. Stephen Robert.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, Stephen Robert. So we've had some great presenters.
Yeah, are we working on that for this summer, or are we gonna wait, you think? Okay, hey, that's okay. Just hey, Cass, just put it on your mind. And
Yeah, let me give it some thought in the next couple of days. I'll get back with you.
okay, that sounds
But,
great.
I didn't think we'd be this far along with the COVID and numbers coming down and everybody vaccinated. You know, I'm really surprised about it. So I figured nothing would be happening until September, October. But looks like, we may be good to go as early as
I sure hope we turn the corner. I'm not sure. I'm not holding my breath on it. But anyway, we'll see. It's hopeful, and we all got to have hope and pray about it too. Warm Water Committee. We've talked about this a little bit about places like Hardwater Lake and various other venues. I went out and took a look at Hardwater Lake. It looks great. Parking is not all that. The parking lot's not all that big. But it looks, people I've talked to have gone out on it and fished it, and just my eyeball on it. The launch is good. It's got a good boat launch. You could put a John boat in there very easily, but plus kayaks. So Katz and Rich, you guys got any inputs on that?
Yeah, we talked last year about Fullerton. Fullerton got whacked by the hurricane, so that's kind of out for a while. We've always talked about Valentine and doing a little thing at Valentine, and that's a possibility. Like you mentioned, Hardwater Lake is great fishing, great fly fishing out there, but it's kind of out of the way, dirt road, small area out there. One place I thought about doing was Natchitoches, Park Natchitoches. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. It is a wonderful facility. They've got about a 4 or 5 acre lake out there that they stocked with rainbow trout, but last fall they stocked it with bass, bluegill, sockeye, crappie, white perch, whatever you want to call them, and catfish. And the fishing there has been really good. I talked to the biologist and he said everything was done right there. As far as they lined the lake and then they fertilized it. And so the fish are growing very rapidly. In fact, the 6 and 7 inch bluegill I was catching back in February over there was stocked last fall as 4-inch fish, 3 and 4 inch fish. Wow. So they're growing very fast. And then of course you have options to bank fish also downtown Natchitoches, also at Shell Beach. And then of course you can launch a kayak or canoe or boat along there. So that might, and then what we could probably do is around noontime, use one of the pavilions out there. They rent pretty cheap and they're really nice. And we could rent the pavilion out there to do a little get together with a lunch and do kind of, burgers or something like that out there, and just everybody come together and talk about what they're fishing, what they did that morning and what they caught them on. But it probably has the best hope for everybody who's, bank fishing, boat fishing, no matter whether you have a boat or not, a kayak or boat, you can participate in that.
Do they allow boats on that little lake?
Not in Park Natchitoches Lake.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
River. Yeah.
Yeah, that is good. It's a great facility. I went out there one day and, there's even a little bit of construction debris laying around. That's just brand spanking new. It's clean. It's, I think it's a cut above Johnny Downs out here.
Mhm.
Yeah, another
Okay.
place, we could do a morning fishing outing like that with bank. Of course, Cotillo is one, another one, Valentine, like I mentioned, but over at the Fort Randolph, not Fort Randolph, well, this Fort Randolph State Park, but what's the other one? The
Camp
area-
Beauregard?
Yeah, well,
Beulah.
the where the boat
Thanks.
ramp is, and it's on the Red River out
Yep.
there.
Oh, Beulah?
Yeah, Bulow, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm
Okay.
gonna send out a feeler on what people are interested in doing as far as the warm water excursion around here, and for a Saturday morning, and see what everybody thinks.
Great.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, and one thing that's not on the agenda, I'd just like to mention is at the end of March, Rich is going to send me a list of all the names of people who have paid up their dues, because the end of March is the deadline. When I get that list, I'm going to fire out the rewritten bylaws for a vote from the general membership, which is, as you know, is required. And then once we get the inputs for that, we can publish the new bylaws. So the requirement is you have to be a voting member to vote on it. And if your dues aren't paid up by the last day of March, you're not in there. So just so you know what I plan to do, if you got any comments on it, send me an email. But we've got a large percentage of us have paid the dues already. Yeah, Rich and I have talked about this. Okay. All right. Any last comments? You see anything come up, Bill?
I don't.
How many people total do we have tonight?
We
Zoom and
peaked out
YouTube.
at 25, Rich. We had,
Thank you.
no, sorry, 26. We had 20 on Zoom and 6 on YouTube.
I have a question. When do y'all anticipate the next meeting?
Who's asking that question?
This is Jerry.
Oh, hey, Jerry. Okay. Stand by for that. Probably be, I would think maybe late April. You talking about a general meeting?
Yeah, the reason I bring it up is that I think today the CDC just came out with their new guidelines that said, I don't know how many of you have been vaccinated, but if we have, they're saying that people who are vaccinated can meet together, and, so long as everyone's been vaccinated, it's safe to meet and not have to wear masks, et cetera. So if things continue along like they are, and the majority of people are vaccinated, it might be that we could consider meeting in person, which would be really nice. I've been hearing a lot about all you guys. It'd be nice to shake your hand at some point.
Well, right now, one of the issues is that the lab where we normally meet is not open. It's closed.
I see.
The West Side Library.
Right.
And it's a pretty good sized room, but we bring up to about 50 people sometimes in the meetings. So now I have some questions about the vaccine and whether or not you can still catch it and spread it. That's what I've heard. I'm not a doctor like you, so.
No, yeah, it's basically the guidelines now are that only people who have been vaccinated would be safe to gather together. It wouldn't obviously for those who have not been vaccinated. Just the thought. I think hopefully that'll be something for a discussion for the next coming meeting, provided there is a place to meet. I know you guys have been doing this for quite some time via Zoom, and it's going to be nice when we're all going to be able to get together.
Amen.
I agree. The only exception to that is the fly casting, which is outdoors. And we're pretty careful out there. Like I said it earlier, we can't track any COVID-19 back to that event.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of us aren't retired. We can't get out there at 4:30. Maybe with the time change,
Hey,
you can do it.
there are a lot of people, a lot of us that aren't retired. I say that because I just resigned from my job on 25th of September.
Yeah, I'm envious of all of you.
Okay. If there are no
Hey,
further
it's 5
comments,
o'clock next Monday.
Yeah,
who's that talking?
Chris.
Next
Chris.
Monday, who's that? Chris?
Yo,
What'd you say?
I said it's 5 o'clock next Monday. So come by
Oh, yeah,
5:30.
Yeah, 5 o'clock.
yeah, I might actually be able to make it.
Great.
Okay, I appreciate everybody's inputs tonight, and thank you for being at the meeting. It's carried on pretty long tonight, but and Jerry, if you can keep us up to speed on these CDC guidelines, it would be very helpful. And I really don't know how many people have been vaccinated in our group. For example, my wife and I get our final shot Saturday. So I don't know. Is there a way to track that in the club? Do you think the members would mind if we track something like that? Because we would have to know, wouldn't we? Jerry, that question?
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be something where everyone is, it's not just having the first vaccination. You have to have the second vaccination, and then 2 weeks after that, then you're considered fully vaccinated and protected.
Okay, this is I tell you what, next time we have a board meeting, we'll, how about if you tag in there with us, and we'll bring that up as a discussion item.
No problem. Happy to.
Yeah, that would be very, very helpful. Yeah, I know you got that computer. You can probably look us all up anyway, right?
That's right.
Okay, if there are no other comments, everybody stay healthy and well. Tight lines to everybody. Thank you very much for the inputs. Y'all have a
And
good night.
thanks to Mr. Carlton for his presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Carlton. It's good stuff.
No,
Very
it wasn't
good,
easy
Carlton.
without your PowerPoint.
You didn't have to lean on no stinking PowerPoint presentation for your briefing. That was a good job.
His best advice was carry a waiting staff.
That's right.
That was a question I have. Rich, didn't you get a waiting staff? I don't want to buy one, like a fly fishing one that's $100. Where can you get a cheap one?
You probably go to Walmart and get a hiking stick.
Hey, Jane.
Yes, I
Yes,
was
sir.
going to say hiking stick. All my hiking staffs will use this waiting staffs.
Hey, Jane.
Yeah.
I got one from China for like $10, and it's good as any of the ones I've seen in the fly shops. I just did it on, I think I did it on eBay or Amazon.
Okay.
So you don't have to pay an arm and a leg to get an adequate staff.
I bought mine at Bass Pro. It was $30 or $40 or something, somewhere along in there.
Yeah. Hobby shop doesn't have them yet.
Hey, maybe more important is the string that attaches it to your waist.
Yeah.
Correct, Robert.
Yeah, string's pretty cheap.
Yeah, when I went
Okay.
the first time about 4 years ago, I was, I don't need no stinking stick. I waded all over the West without falling down, and Carlton, I think he created a bird with my name from so many falls in the river that day. So it was they were slickest I've ever seen. Colorado is nothing like the Little Missouri.
That's true.
And
And I've
Broken Bow's
always
even,
been-
and Broken Bow's even worse.
Is it? I don't know. I've never
Oh,
seen
yeah.
Little Mo. It's like,
It's nothing like those streams up in the mountains in Turkey either.
Well, I've fallen at Broken Bow and took a minute to get back up because every time I stood up, I fell again.
You kept getting up though, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
That's what counts. Okay,
Okay.
guys.
all right.
Just past my
night.
bedtime.
Thank
You
you.
guys have a good evening. Thanks a lot.
Try to send the minutes out tomorrow. Bye-bye.